So yesterday, on 4th of June, Russian President Vladimir Putin and US President Donald Trump had a phone conversation. And this was a long phone conversation during which multiple important issues, and the prime among them, a ceasefire to the Russia-Ukraine conflict was discussed. I mean, we have seen previously that after such phone calls, US President Donald Trump has mostly said that Putin is ready for a ceasefire. Putin wants to talk about a ceasefire, and I would conclude a deal very, very soon. We would conclude a deal. I mean, I'm not exactly imitating Mr. Donald Trump, but the word deal he uses extensively in all of his speeches. So this time around, there was no such talk of a peace deal. Rather, Donald Trump has said that Putin is kind of angry about what Ukraine did. The Operation Spiderweb, wherein Ukraine literally, I mean, I would have to appreciate Ukraine for what did, being such a smaller country with limited resources, and the damage that it done to Russia was really, really heavy, and that's why I appreciate Ukraine military. It's the president who is the leader, and that's why he should also get some credit. But this particular attack has really waned away the chances of any ceasefire, any immediate ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. And President Donald Trump has highlighted this condition that Putin has said that Russia would take revenge, Russia would take retribution for what Ukraine has done. I mean, even all know that retribution would be taken, but what kind of retribution? You see, if Ukraine, what Ukraine is claiming by this Operation Spiderweb, that they destroyed around 34% of Russia's strategic bombing assets. I mean, that is a huge number. And what is more dangerous is the symbolic defeat of Russia. So Russia is the second or third largest military in the world, and when it comes to nuclear power, it is the world's largest nuclear power with nuclear arsenals in the range of 6,000, and that is more than in the United States. But when Ukraine, a tiny non-nuclear nation, strikes not just on the borders close to it, but to the far eastern region of Russia, which is, I mean, Russia is a long country when it comes to east-west stretch, and when Ukraine has the wherewithal to target Russian assets in its far eastern region, that is something, a greater defeat, a symbolic defeat for Russia, the mighty military nation. So that is why a retribution from Russia is also very much needed. I'm not in favor of such a retribution, but Russians would not sleep peacefully until they have taken retribution. And this takes this particular conflict to a whole different level. I would say that it's true that Russia is attacking Ukraine, but it is also exercising sufficient caution that it is not destroying public infrastructure in the way it can. Russia has huge wherewithal to destroy Ukraine completely, but it is not using all of its resources because it does not want to completely annihilate, completely make ruin of Ukraine, just like Israel has done in Gaza, because it knows that it want Ukraine to be in its place. It just want to replace the current dispensation of Ukraine led by Volodymyr Zelensky. Its stated objective is to denazify this new Nazis that are in Ukraine. I mean, this whole ideology behind this conflict, that they want to denazify, they want to get rid of the new Nazis that are perpetrating in Ukraine. This whole ideology is somewhat debatable, but this is the stated war objective that Russian administration, Vladimir Putin, and all of his um, cabinet have said multiple times out loud in public. But if this is the stated objective of Russia, then what Russians are doing is in line of that objective. That they are not completely destroying Ukraine, but are only doing enough damage, only making enough damage upon Ukraine, so that the Ukrainian forces give up. The Ukraine president gives up. But something, nothing of that sort is happening as of now. And this particular attack reminds, it's a reminder to Russia that Ukraine is also a force to reckon with, especially with all the help that it is getting from the Western countries. But one thing particular about this particular assault, this Operation Spiderweb, is that Ukraine did not tell about this particular mission to its Western counterparts, especially the United States, which has been helping Ukraine, which has been arming, which has been funding Ukraine from the start of this war. Because it is alleged that if Ukraine might have told about this particular conflict to United States, then Donald Trump would not have been in favor of such an attack, because right from the start, Donald Trump wants to have a peace deal want to have a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. And we all know that after this particular assault by Ukraine on Israel, on Russia, the chances of ceasefires have completely waned away, have completely become nil. And that's why we all know that United States would not have approved of such an assault by Ukraine over Russia. So if you want to know more about what is happening around the world, what is happening in the major conflicts such as Russia-Ukraine conflict and Israel-Hamas conflict, and other conflicts around the world, and stay connected. This is Anup Yadav.